Welcome back, Beans Army, to another episode of the Less is More Sports Podcast, the college offseason podcast, where you could say we're less of the regular season, but more of the offseason. With the 2024 college football schedules officially out, Ryan and I are going to get into the top games that we're looking forward to for the new college football season. But before we get into that, our friend Matt here has a couple elephants in the room that he wants to address, so take it away.
So out of nowhere, the big topic of discussion became court storming this weekend after Wake Forest upsets Duke. Sorry, Les. Kyle Filipowski on the court gets hit by a guy running by, and it looks all really bad, and everyone's concerned that kid's blown his ankle out or something. And it's like, fortunately, that didn't happen, but it's still a very odd situation, which leads to people talking about and compiled with what happened earlier this year at Ohio State with Caitlin Clark and the women's side of the ball, where she was hit by a fan running onto the court. We get that age-old discussion about whether or not we should ban court storming once again. And some people they come up with ideas about this, and it's a really good idea. I've seen good ideas about it. I've seen really bad ideas about it. Oh my goodness. I am so sorry, people. My computer is like threatening to crash on me.
Oh, that's
So
not good.
this is not good. But anyway, I'm going to try to keep going until this thing eventually stops. But yeah, Wake Forest upsets Duke. Kyle Filipowski gets hit. Earlier this year, we had Caitlin Clark get hit by a fan at Ohio State. I knew that. Thank you. So earlier this year, we had Caitlin Clark at Ohio State. I am so sorry about these technical difficulties out of nowhere. And then the conversation shifts to should court storming be banned, which it feels like we have every year. And the answer, of course, is no. Now, some people have good ideas about this. I think it was Mike Golick Jr. suggesting they offer the visiting team free food to get them off the court a little bit quicker. And then you have, man, I feel like I'm dunking on Duke all the time. I'm really sorry about this list, but then you have like Jay Billis, who comes in with arguably the dumbest thing I've ever heard on ESPN, and I've heard some really dumb stuff. I remember when Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp, Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith were like at their peak and did some really dumb stuff, suggesting that they detain everybody who's running onto the court, or at least give them a citation because that will stop it. I'm
Yep.
sure security at an arena really wants to do that. There are 5,000, excited 20-something-year-olds who probably have had too much alcohol storming onto the court. And you're going to try to control all of them, find a way to give each and every one of them a citation, clog the court system, put it on their resume, so that way they can complain when they don't get a job they've been cited for storming the court at a college basketball game. There are just a lot of problems with that. Yeah, it would stop, I guess, or it could be the dumbest thing the legal system has ever had. And I believe it would be the dumbest thing the legal system has ever had. So this is the part where I come in and I usually give like the Matt size solution to y'all. Like, how do we fix this from my perspective? Because as everyone knows, I'm very smart. LOL. So so it's like, well, what do you do? Do you say if a game is very clearly going to be an upset with like 5 seconds to go, do you take an emergency timeout, let everybody shake hands, get off the court, and then let the game finish out? Maybe only leave like the walk-ons in if you're the other team. And it's like, that at first that sounds logical. And then you think about it and you realize how many of these court storming things come down to the last second. It's usually not decided by, 5 seconds to go. That Duke and Wake Forest game wasn't. They still had time to get a shot off to see if they could extend the game. So it's like, what do you do? And then it occurs to me, you can't do it. Period. End of statement. We are because basically court storming and to a lesser extent storming the field in college football are two of like the last pure moments of spontaneity and joy that we have left in the sports world now. Because as we're going to talk about later, we look around, we see the way things are changing. We lose thanks to all the money and the way things are shifting with conferences. We're losing all the rivalries. We're losing all the passions. We're still keeping the upsets, but this is one of those things where it's one of the few spontaneous expressions of joy left in the sport because it's the only sport. It's the only level where it's acceptable. People don't storm the field in the NFL. People don't get on the ice in hockey. People used to run on the baseball diamond, which sometimes leads to disco demolition night and sometimes leads to those guys high-fiving Hank Aaron after he breaks Babe Ruth's records. But college sports is the only point where you were running onto the court after you've done something incredible is not only accepted, but it also proves something legendary. One of the best moments that we all talk about is the freaking band is on the field. We're not mad at the band for being on the field. Everyone's just like, the band's on the field. That's hilarious. That's something very similar. And in a college sports landscape that's becoming increasingly sterile and increasingly, not about the fun of the rivalry anymore. Just this week, UMass announced they're going to the Mid-American Conference again. We talk about Texas A&M threatening to leave and join the Big Ten of all things. Because if there's anything we need, it's the epic rivalry between Texas A&M and Minnesota. That's exactly what everyone in the sport was clamoring for right there. We see these teams shifting conferences. Now they're adding 2-minute warnings potentially to college football. They're adding all kinds of stoppages for the sake of commercials. We're watching things become diluted, whether it becomes the conferences, whether it becomes part of how they're changing the style of play. And court storming, weirdly enough, is symbolically one of the few things we have left that is just what college sports is all about. Being young, being stupid, being overjoyed at your team doing something incredible. And, it would be different. We'd be talking about this differently if Filipowski or Caitlin Clark were actually hurt by what happened. But I watched the Louisville Duke game for reasons unbeknownst to me. I don't even know why I put myself through that. And I don't think he was hindered too much. I know he was playing Louisville, so he might as well have been trying to dodge a bunch of whatever they call them, those tackling drill dummies. But he didn't look very hurt to me. So I think he's doing just fine. And, it reminds me, too, of, watching high school sports. I was at a game where Warren Central from Indianapolis beat New Albany back when they had Romeo Langford. And Warren Central fans stormed the court after they got a huge win. And one of their guys bumped into Romeo Langford and was squaring up. And you know what happened? Nothing. Because that kid was young and stupid, and everyone accepted that, sometimes stupid shit happens. And, that's part, like I said, that's just part of being young. You do stupid shit. And as long as nobody gets hurt, there's no point in changing it. And like I said earlier, too, we're watching the fundamental shift of college sports into something that's more corporate, into something that's more professional. And that's one of the few glimpses of what we used to have that we have left. And so, people talk, but aren't you all about college, the expansion and stuff? It's like, just because I'm telling you what's happening doesn't mean I'm happy about it. I'm just being pragmatic. And that's just how court storming is now. So, yeah, let's just keep it that way. Let's just let the spontaneity ride until, it actually becomes a problem and kids are running out there with lead pipes to go club people. And until that happens, if that happens, yes, we'll start arresting people, Jay Billis. You can pull up the paddy wagon and we can have ourselves a good time having a kegger at the jail. But until that happens, leave it be. Let's enjoy the few fleeting glimpses into a really crazy environment that we have left. And let's just let bygones be bygones. Somebody gets their knee bumped, happens. It can happen during the game just as much as it can happen during a court storming. So those are my thoughts after a kind of bumpy start where my computer tried to crash on me about court storming. And it's interesting too. I talked about Texas A&M joining the Big Ten. We're at that time of year, 2-minute warnings coming to college football. So let's hope that now that we have the schedule, all of the games don't become conference matchups. And I think, Les, you and Ryan have something to say about that. So let's hear it.
Well, I'm going to let Ryan get into, his thoughts on the matter, but I want to get a couple things off my chest before he does that. Who did you say was the guy who said that the opposing team should offer free food to opposing teams?
Mike Golick Jr.
Mike Golick Jr. Okay, I don't know which idea was dumber, his or Jay Billis's. Okay, you imagine you just lose a heartbreaking game, but you're like, oh, cool, free food, we out. That's not how that's going to work, at all. Not to mention, if for those who actually watched the Duke Wake Forest game, the fans stormed the court as soon as the clock hit 0. They wouldn't have had time to do anything regardless. And that's often how a lot of court stormings happen. It happens as soon as the game's over. Free food ain't gonna make them going off the court any faster. That's dumb as hell. And not to mention, like, after a loss like that or whatever, are they even going to be hungry? They ain't thinking about food. That's dumb as hell. And of course, we all know what Jay Billis said was dumb. They're not going to detain like thousands of people all at once. It's like that old mindset, like, oh, they can't. Let's. It's like when people were talking about charging Area 51 a couple years ago. Let's do it. They can't stop all of us. Well, okay. The difference being is that the military around Area 51, they actually can stop all of you. But yeah, I mean, and this would be a time where that logic would be more successful because no, they can't stop all them thousands of people all at once. That's dumb as hell. And then the last thing I'm going to say before I let Ryan take his thoughts away is Texas A&M is clearly ducking Texas. We finally get Texas and A&M back in the same conference where we get to renew the rivalry, and now they want to leave again. They are scared. All their fans are a bunch of Twitter badasses, and I have no respect for the Texas A&M fans because also, fun fact that I was taught by a Texas alum, it's because of Texas A&M that Texas fans hate the horns down so much. So that is my thoughts on the matter. Ryan, tell me what's on your mind.
I've seen a lot of the court stormings and in the past few years that I've watched, and I don't think that there's a lot that you can do besides taking it fully away. I agree with what Les said. If 3,000 students are coming at you, you can't. There's no amount of security guards that you can bring in that is going to stop
Right.
all the students. If you have roping, they're going to go under. It just doesn't work like that. And I think most people that had ideas about stopping this were good. Everyone except Jay Billis. That was possibly the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
That was very
But
dumb.
Ooh, I love
I
it.
I do like I do like I've heard this sometimes. The Kansas State head coach, he
Jerome
doesn't
Tang.
have court stormings. He brings his players. Yes, Jerome Tang. He sometimes brings his players into the crowd and he goes in the crowd. That I could see that being tiny bit dangerous, but it's better than all the havoc that is on the floor. I love court stormings. I love how it is in college basketball and college football. I think it's one of the great traditions that I would call, and I don't think that there's really much you can do. It sucks that the players got hurt, but maybe we have to make the small changes before we make the big changes.
I promise to. I'm not laughing at you guys or your takes. I'm just thinking about all those Area 51 memes from a few years ago. Me and the alien I stole from Area 51 going to the basketball game and storming the court.
They can't stop all of us.
They can't. They can and will. Come on, enjoy the meme, people. And then they
That was
actually
that was a
Naruto.
wild time.
They actually Naruto ran out there. God bless those brave souls.
That ended up being like one big party, which was awesome.
I know that was one of the few moments where it felt like humanity had truly come together.
We should have more of those moments. We should all start one big internet meme and just come together as a society, and that would solve world peace. That's
Well,
what I'm
that
hearing.
Willy
That's what I
Wonka,
took out of this.
the Willy Wonka thing is starting to do that slowly and steadily. If
You
you
know,
guys haven't,
y'all come for the sports takes, but then you stay for the world peace ideas. I guess.
they
I don't
should.
know.
We should be in charge of the UN, is what we're trying to say.
Last episode was daddy issues, and this one's world peace.
Right. Right. We're solving we're solving one thing at a time here on the show.
We deal with heavy topics here.
I think first of all, I also want to say that I think Bean would be in charge of the UN, if anybody.
I don't know if we can trust him. I feel like he's got grudges, and he would take them out on other countries potentially.
You doubt my abilities, puny human.
Why are you doing this? I will destroy all of them. There will be no more Latvia.
Daddy's gonna be the first one to go. He didn't give me enough treats this morning.
Well, he's licking your hand, so that's a good sign.
No,
Or
he's
he
trying to
was.
warm up. He's trying to warm up to me before he kills me.
Oh,
Is that
geez.
how his voice would be if he was a human?
Yes. Matt came up with no, this was before you got on the show. Matt came up with the Emperor Bean voice.
I
A few
based it
years
on
ago.
Star Wars.
Well, you got it from Star Wars? Well, no wonder I didn't recognize it. I don't even like Star Wars.
I was trying to do Palpatine, the Emperor from Star Wars. Do it.
Star Wars is lame.
Shut up.
How about you come over here and make me, bud? How
I'll
much you do it
leave
over
the
his
pod-
computer
I
screen?
will leave the podcast again.
Marvel's better.
Maybe.
Monsterverse
What?
is better. Dragon Ball Z is
Play
better.
I've
some
never
video
seen
games.
Dragon Ball Z.
This feels like the appropriate moment to flex the Broly chain that I wear every podcast.
I
Stop.
still haven't seen Dragon Ball Z, so that does not faze me.
Well, that sounds like your first problem.
I know there's a character called Piccolo. Does he play the Piccolo? That'd be fun.
No, he does not. I don't think he plays any
Well,
musical
that'd be
instruments.
lame. His name is a misnomer.
You know, you can talk to the creators on that one.
Angry.
There's also a guy on Dragon Ball Z called Satan. I feel like there's bigger issues there.
Satan. Is he really Satan, or is his name? Was that a family name, or
I don't really know the guy's life story, man. I haven't really had a conversation with him.
learn your lore, Les? Jesus.
He's not really one of my favorite characters on the show. I mean, he's the guy who takes credit for saving the world, but he's like, you get down to it, he's like, he ducks in and hides in the corner while Goku and Vegeta handle everything. So,
Ryan, have you seen Dragon Ball Z?
No.
I feel like
what
we
is
have
wrong with you all?
2 against 1,
I think
we win.
to be honest, I've seen one Star Wars.
Still
And
more
you
than Dragon
and
Ball
you
Z.
thought you all were on the same team, Matt. Get out of here.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
You got that from Alien versus Predator. Don't even lie.
Did I? I've never seen Alien versus Predator.
Well, that's like
I've
one of
seen
the famous lines from that movie.
Oh, well, the original Alien is one of my favorite movies, and I kind of lose interest in the franchise.
Why?
The original Alien, it's great.
What's not?
It's a masterpiece of suspense, and
I was like, yeah, it's known for being like the first horror movie where it like exposed how scary suspense was.
yeah, that's why I love it.
Sure, I guess.
And the acting is wonderful too. I mean, it's got Yaphet Kotto. He's amazing in every movie he's in.
You pretend like I know who that
It's
is.
great. Ian Holm.
Yeah, I don't know who any of those people are.
I'm not cultured for not watching Dragon Ball Z. Okay, whatever.
You are not. At least I've
I'm-
seen Alien. I just don't really care about the actors in Alien, except
Ooh,
for what?
have you
Except for the
seen
main
Jaws?
character Ripley. Isn't like the main character Ripley? Have I seen
Yes.
Jaws? Yes, I've seen Jaws.
Do you
I
at
love
least like
Jaws.
Jaws? Okay.
Yeah, I love Jaws. I mean, except for
Why do
Jaws.
you
No,
like
okay.
Jaws, but
Jaws.
not
Hey,
like
Jaws Revenge is ass.
Oh yeah, that movie's like hilariously bad.
Oh
But
my
why do you
gosh!
like-
Like the shark just like comes straight up out the water and starts roaring. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's not how that would go
It's
at
a
all. But hey,
beautiful scene for like all the wrong reasons. But
As
why
an
do
avid-
you like? But why
as
do you
an
like
avid
Jaws
sh-
and hate Alien?
as an avid shark enthusiast, you know, or a shark expert because I watch Shark Week every year, that's not possible. But you know, hey, what do I know?
Megalodon is extinct, people.
No, it's not.
Oh my god! I really
You
am.
just
I
love,
think
I
my-
swear, I promise to all the listeners, we are actually a sports podcast, but you know, we just get off topic from time to time.
Topics were thin today.
I think-
We're just... Yes, Ryan.
I think my movie choices are like polar opposite from you all. I've seen Marvel, I think I've seen Jaws before, but my movie choices are like go based off like actors like Will Ferrell, Dwayne Johnson, I love Kevin Hart. Mark
You're one of the
Wahlberg,
few people that
and
actually
then
still calls
sports
him
movies.
Dwayne
So I
Johnson.
think The Rock / Dwayne Johnson, both of them, that guy.
He has 2 kids. I wonder if they're called the Pebble and the Boulder.
No, they'd be named Igneous and Sedentary.
Their name
This
is
guy. This guy.
Metamorphic.
Paper.
Metamorphic.
We went from movies to science to now
This
we're going to
is-
talk about
is-
religion next. Like,
His kids' name are Paper and Scissors.
That's a good one. That's a good one, Ryan.
that was a
You
good
need-
one.
you need to use that one in public. That's actually a really good one.
It might be
being
one of the
serious.
best dad jokes I've ever heard.
This is not sarcastic. That's actually really good. Well, if you want a controversial sports take, one of my least favorite movies of all time is Hoosiers. I cannot stand Hoosiers.
Oh no, we've established that on like one of the very first episodes you were on the show. That like literally my jaw dropped, and you were like, and then you also followed it up with I hate Space Jam and I hate.
Oh, yeah, I
Did you
hate
say I hate Rudy? Did you say you hate Rudy too?
Yeah, I hate Rudy.
What
I
is
hate
wrong
most
with you?
sports movies, man. Sports movies are the most formulaic things imaginable.
I just love the scene in Gridiron Gang where like they're in the pool and you could clearly tell that they edited like, black people's heads on like white people's bodies. And I was like,
Yes, I've seen that.
that was the worst editing job of all time.
That was pretty bad.
I think the one of the worst things in like football movies is when they choose actors that have like no throwing like ability, and it
Oh
looks
my
terrible.
God. No shit.
Yes, that's part of the reason too. At
Okay,
least in
so I've only seen this movie because I have a dating life. And so I've seen the movie The Duff, and one of the main characters is the star quarterback on the team. And one of the scenes, he's warming up in practice, and this man's literally throwing like this, like over and over again.
does he think he is Daryl LaMonica?
Oh no. I mean, I didn't really talk to him, so I didn't really know what that was.
Oh my god.
Oh,
At
I
least in
hate,
who?
okay, no, what I hate even more is when like non-sports related shows try to emulate sports scenes, because literally you can ask my girlfriend now about this. Like we'll be watching a movie and then a bunch of sports things come in. I'll be like, that's not right. He would totally be ejected after that. They don't play that long in high school soccer. What the frick is going on?
And there is a rule in the rule book that says a dog can't play basketball, damn it.
Yeah. Sorry, Bean. I know you're getting excited there.
You can tell Airbud to go back to wherever Airbud's from. Screw Airbud.
Everybody's jealous of Bean.
Everybody is
Airbud.
jealous of Bean. Bean's
Well,
like laying on my shoulder right now, like I know.
I am the best dog. Nothing can stop.
Anyways, I feel like we're wasting a lot of time here. I think Ryan and I do actually have to go into our
I tried to
most
get you to seg into that.
win.
At the very end, I said Ryan and Les have something to say about college football, and then we kind of went off the rails. That's what happens.
You're right. That actually might be my fault. I apologize. Sorry, guys. My mind is all over the place.
Let's
I
act like.
feel like I got a late diagnosis of ADHD.
Oh, I've been there.
It only took about 30 years, but I think I finally got diagnosed.
So
Did I actually just give away my age on the podcast? That's not good.
Well, people probably think I'm 64 after after that series of references. So I bet you're good. So
I think you're being generous. I think 70 is about the average age range. We should run a poll and like run and make it a total like FanDuel bet style. Over under. Let's guess Matt's age. I'm gonna set the line at 69 and a half.
69. Oh, nice.
I wasn't even trying to go there, but hey, I like what you did there.
You walked into it. You walked into it.
I walked right into it. You know what? I'm not complaining about it either.
The time has now come
I think
for
I
Les and
gave
Ryan. Oh, sorry, Ryan.
I think I gave up my age the first episode when it was just me and Les.
I think
You also
did.
gave it away last week when you were like,
gave
"Yeah,
it
when
up
Reggie
to
Bush
them.
won the Heisman, I wasn't born yet."
That just I'm crumbling to dust again.
Pretty true.
I think without further ado, the time has come
Yes.
for Les and Ryan to reveal their top 5 college football matchups for next season to me. After which, I guess I will issue a ruling about whose list was better.
Oh wait, you're deciding that now?
Well, I'm the only one who didn't make a list here, so I feel like it's only natural for me to be impartial here.
You see that, guys? He's going behind my back and becoming the emperor himself. You and Bean are going to fight for the top spot. And my money's on Bean.
Bean is the Emperor, and I am Darth Vader.
Okay, that's fair.
I do have two honorable mentions before we get in the top 5.
So yeah, go ahead. So yeah, without further ado,
Honorable
Ryan, get
mentions
into your
meaning
honorable
that-
mentions.
These games, there could be even a couple more. I just thought of these two, but these games could have easily been in my top 5. Number 1 is Oregon at Michigan. Michigan will have a new look. Oregon is bringing in Dylan Gabriel, bringing in Evan Stewart. It is going to be a whole different college football season. I think Les and I's list are polar opposites, but to be honest, I love that. I think we should expand our interest in college football. Number 2 is I think Les will like this. Oklahoma versus Texas in the Red River Showdown. I absolutely love watching that game. Usually a high scoring game, a big crowd. It feels like the fans are just right on top of the field. And that game is always so fun and exciting to watch.
And not to mention that it's going to be the first year that both Texas and Oklahoma are in the SEC. It'll be that addition to the Red River rivalry.
Very true. That'll be exciting.
So those are your honorable mentions. All right, now get into your number 5 game that you are looking forward to.
So my number 5 game, these all could be interchangeable. It's hard to make this list, but I will go with Georgia at Alabama on September 28th. This is really the first time that we've seen this game in regular season in a little bit. Alabama will look a little bit different without Nick Saban. They'll still be very good. They still got Jalen Milroe, who's absolutely jacked. I don't know if you've seen him recently. Georgia will be really, really good. They still have Carson Beck. They still have all their stars besides Brock Bowers, but I think that they will, and Ladd McConkey, they will be able to just next guy up mentality. So that, and it also will have a huge impact on the SEC championship later in the season.
Fair enough. Not to mention Georgia did land a big time transfer in Trevor Etienne at the running back position. Not to mention, I mean, if you pay attention to recruiting, Georgia has a top 5 recruiting class pretty much every year. Kirby Smart's been the head coach. So Georgia's always going to be loaded. Alabama, it's going to be interesting. But of course, those have been the 2 traditional powers of the SEC the last 10 years, essentially, maybe even longer. I'm not really good with time. Time's kind of getting away from me ever since COVID happened. But, hey. So, yeah, very good choice at your number 5 spot. For my number 5, of course, as you all know, it's not a Less is More Sports podcast without shouting out Boise State. So coming in at my number 5, we have Boise State at Oregon on September 7th. And look, every year we talk about Boise State being one of the mid-major teams that is kind of like the disaster. Oh shit, we're only almost 10 minutes ago. We gotta get through this. Anyways, yes, we talk about Boise State almost every year being that team that can cause a lot of chaos for the Power 5. Of course, now they got, their new head coach. They got Malachi Nelson transferring in, of course, and they have the number 1, in my opinion, the best running back in the country. So it's always, this is going to be that year test to see if they can match up with the Power 5. So that's what I'm looking forward to. All right, we got to less than 10 minutes speed round. Ryan, give me your number 4.
All right, my number 4 is Ohio State at Oregon. We saw Ohio State play Oregon 2 seasons ago at Ohio State. Obviously, Ohio State lost that. It was disappointing for Buckeye fans, but it will be a huge road test at Autzen Stadium, and like the number 5, it will have a big impact on the championship game for the Big Ten.
2 teams with really good off seasons. I like it. Coming in at my number 4 is a complete homer take, and as you all probably could have guessed it, it's Duke versus Elon on August 30th. And you could probably guess why I'm looking forward to it because it's the kickoff of the Manny Diaz era. So that is my number 4, Duke versus Elon on August 30th. Ryan, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is less like this. Texas at Michigan, second game of the year. Crazy scheduling. The coaches will just be learning their new teams. Michigan's Sherrone Moore is going to have to learn his quarterback, learn it all the whole roster. It will be a crazy game. Obviously, it's at Michigan. Big game for Texas and big game in the seeding.
We're going to beat the brakes off Michigan is all I'm going to say. Coming in at my number 3, I have LSU versus USC in Las Vegas on September 1st. You know what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and a loser in that game is going to wish they could leave those results in Vegas afterward. Look, you see 2 very exciting teams over the last several years. You got Brian Kelly versus Lincoln Riley on the coaching matchup. Both teams are getting new quarterbacks. You have the reigning Heisman Trophy winner gone from LSU, and you have the more than likely the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft leaving for USC. So it's going to be very interesting to see how these once very high potent offenses look in the new year. So my number 3, I'm coming in at LSU versus USC in Las Vegas on September 1st.
My number 2 is another shout out to Les. Georgia at Texas. Huge game for the seeding. It will have a huge impact on the top five rankings. Both teams should definitely be in the top five rankings, but it'll just be a really hard fought game. We haven't seen this matchup obviously because Texas just joined the SEC, but very excited to watch that game. That is on October 19th, right dead smack in the middle of the season. It'll be exciting to watch.
I'm really flattered that half of your list you were thinking about me, so appreciate it, Ryan. Makes me feel good. At least somebody loves me, Bean, looking at you. Anyways, he's not on the screen right now, but he's giving me the side eye. But anyways, coming in at my number 2, I have Michigan at Washington on October 15th, and this game intrigues me because it's the two most depleted teams in college football. So it's going to be interesting to see how both teams look in the new year. That's all I have.
Coming in at Ryan's list on top, number 1, I have Michigan at Ohio State. In my opinion, it is the greatest rivalry. I know that is very arguable. That is on, of course, at the end of the season on November 30th. You know, Michigan has got Ohio State 3 times in a row. Ohio State's sick of it. That's why they went into the offseason and absolutely destroyed the offseason, getting the players that they needed and making the coaching changes that they needed to also. I know that they will be ready for this game. Michigan obviously they're going to be good too. They're losing a lot, but they're still going to be good. Their players know what the rivalry is about. And it's going to be one of the toughest games, one of the most hard-fought games. You know, this rivalry isn't since the playoff expansion, it's taken a little bit away. College football's taking a little bit away from this rivalry. It isn't as what it was to other college football fans, but Ohio State and Michigan fans still love watching this rivalry, and it'll still be the same for those fans.
Keeping the same theme going with rivalry games, coming in at my number 1 spot is Texas at Texas A&M on the last week of the regular season on November 30th. Look, it's been almost 15 years before we've had a Texas versus Texas A&M rivalry game, and this is long overdue. You know, this is the first year that Texas is in the SEC. Texas A&M has a new coach and Mike Elko, one guy that I know firsthand being the former Duke head coach. And of course, it's going to be very interesting to see how the players react to the revitalization of a once great rivalry. And I can't wait to see it. And also because Texas A&M fans are the loudest bunch of losers on Twitter, maybe next to Kentucky fans, I don't know, haven't decided yet. I cannot wait to see Texas go into what do they call it, College Station or whatever. Yeah, can't wait to see Texas go into College Station to absolutely beat the brakes off those Aggies. Look, Texas is going to be really freaking good next year, and I'm going to talk all the shit in the world in the offseason until the season happens. So those are my top 5 games that I am looking forward to the most. And in case you missed it, number 5 was Boise State at Oregon on September 7th. Number 4 was Duke versus Elon on August 30th. Number 3 was LSU versus USC in Las Vegas on September 1st. Number 2 is Michigan at Washington on October 5th. And number 1, as I just said, the revitalization of a once great rivalry, Texas at Texas A&M on November 30th. Phone drop. Instead of mic drop.
And going with the theme that he just said, in case you missed my list, number 5 was Georgia at Alabama on September 28th. Number 4 was Ohio State at Oregon on October 12th. Number 3 was Texas at Michigan, second game of the year on September 7th. Number 2 was Georgia at Texas on October 19th. And then coming in at number 1 was Michigan at Ohio State on November 30th.
Let us know what you think about me and Ryan's top 5 games that we are looking forward to in the new college football season. Be sure to let us know what your top games are for the new 2024 college football season. And I'm going to do this a little earlier than normal. As always, like and subscribe to Less is More Sports YouTube and Spotify channel. Be sure to follow the social media pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Threads. That's at Less is More Sports. This is a good episode, guys. I mean, we kind of got distracted. Wait, what?
We're not getting out of this one. I said I was going to decide whose list was better. Remember?
Oh
And I'm
yeah,
gonna
you
do
did.
it.
Shit,
You thought you could get around me, huh?
I tried.
Does this claim
Well,
favoritism?
I think it
no.
is. I think Ryan's going to win by default.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. Well, you both whiffed by not talking about the start of the Coach Sig era at Indiana, because we all know that's going to go well. It's not going to backfire in any way, shape, or form, and we're all actually going to have to care about Indiana football. I'm
You
kidding.
know,
It's going to go well, I think, but it's not that time yet. Ryan, you had a great list. Don't get me wrong. I loved your matchups and I loved everything about it. But Les wins for one reason and one reason only.
Holy
He
shit!
shouted, he shouted out Elon. Colonial Athletic Association, baby. The Elon Phoenix, baby. We love
Mid-major
the,
Matt coming in strong at the end of the
we
episode.
love the Colonial Athletic Association, baby. Give me those Monmouths. Give me those Elons. Les, you won my heart. Congratulations.
This might, I want the fans to take note of this because this might be the first time in the Less is More Sports podcast history that Matt has actually chosen me to win anything. So I am completely honored. Me and Bean are going to go celebrate after the show, and I'm going to flex the Broly chain for the camera one more time. Brr.
All right.
This is honestly a good episode, though, because we got. What'd you say, Ryan?
Yeah, Ryan.
I do wish a little bit that Indiana was retaining the matchup versus Louisville again, because I went to that game and it was really fun having it at Lucas Oil Stadium. I think they have taken it away, but that was a really fun game.
Louisville's
That
ducking
would've-
Just to see
Indiana.
how Indiana is next season.
Louisville's ducking them.
They're afraid of a man whose name is Sig.
He's going to smoke them.
He said that he said at Big Ten Media Day or Big Ten Championship that he was going to be there next season. So
Yeah, he says he's gonna
that's
be there
probably
next
why
year.
Louisville is ducking.
All right, we'll see you guys next time. Like and subscribe to the podcast.